Welcome. Thanks for joining me today. This class is going to be a fusion of 3 different types of yoga. We're going to start off with some yin, holding the poses a little bit longer, about 3 to 4 minutes each. Then we're going to move and transition into a flow, moving ourselves in ways that feel good to stretch those areas that are much desired. And then we'll move into some restorative poses so that we can reset and find ourselves a little bit more fresh once we step off of our mats. We will start in a seated meditation position, so you don't need many props right now. Just ground down, sit those hips up, and kind of settle into your space. Once you've arrived, allow yourself to close your eyes. Bring yourself into the room, onto your mat, and into your body. Start to take in your surroundings, acknowledging the sounds, the smells, the sensations around you. Just allow yourself to become more present with every passing moment. Taking some time to scan over the body, checking in, acknowledging any areas of tightness or concern, but then also checking on the other side, areas that are a little bit ready to expand, places that feel good in the body. And then checking in mentally, acknowledging where you are emotionally, and just allow that to be. No judging, just acknowledge, and knowing that sometimes those emotions, that mental state affects our practice, so have no expectations for this practice. Just be happy that you are here on your mat today in your body, allowing yourself to be. And starting to settle in on an intention for your practice. Maybe you've come here for a specific reason, and that is your intention. Allow that to take form. I'm going to set the intention, if you don't have one, for being mindful and noticing the sensations in the body today. So noticing those sensations when we're still, noticing the sensations when we start to move, and then notice the sensations as we start to become still again. So just being present in the body the entire practice here. And more importantly, allowing that breath to anchor you into the present moment. So holding on to that intention of mindfulness and being present. Allow that to take form in your mind's eye. And allow your hands to press together in front of your heart. Wherever you are in your breathing cycle, exhale fully. We'll do a big inhale to Om and open our practice. Full inhale. Releasing the hands to the thighs. Take a few moments here just to let that settle in. And then allow the eyes to blink open. Gathering a few props here, we're going to come into our first pose of child's pose. If your space is a little bit more chilly or warm, adjust accordingly with clothing, depending on how your space is. We will be here for this first section for about maybe 10-15 minutes, so you want to make sure that you're comfortable. The first pose we're going to come to is child's pose. If child's pose is going to be tough on your knees or your ankles or your hips, support yourself accordingly. You want to come to a first edge, right? So you want to come to just a slight sensation in the hips, the knees, maybe the spine here. So you might want to have some props handy, maybe some pillows, some blocks. If you can't quite sit all the way back on your heels, place a prop between your knees. Maybe you place a pillow underneath your seat and sit back there. If you need, maybe a blanket under your ankles so that your ankles aren't pressing in if you can't completely dorsiflex those feet, right? So you want to make sure you have some support there. And then you have options for your arms. Maybe your arms come out for extended child's pose. Maybe your hands are by your side with your head resting on your forehead resting on a block or a pillow. Or maybe the hands feel better back by your hips. So just kind of settle in here at the beginning. Getting out any little wiggles, finding that edge to where you can sit. So you want to find some target in the hips. You don't want any sharp or stabbing sensation in the knees. So if you're feeling that, prop yourself up a little bit. Maybe lift your head more, maybe lift your hips more. And you want to be able to feel a little bit of sensation along the spine, right? So going from the sit bones all the way up into the neck. So finding a little bit of a sensation there. So go ahead and settle in. I'm going to start the time. And then once you've settled in, you found that space, try to find some stillness. Tuning into that intention of being mindful and noticing the sensations. Allowing yourself to be okay with those sensations. And allowing yourself to drop in to silence, into stillness. Not only physically, but also mentally, just noticing your breath. If and when your mind does wander away, acknowledge the thought, and then have the strength to bring the mind back to the breath, back to the sensations, and create that stability within the body, within the mind. And we'll stay here for a while. And as over time, as the time continues on in this pose, you may not notice the sensations are as strong or at that edge that you want to come to, so you can adjust accordingly. Maybe as that time happens, you move slowly and you start to remove maybe anything that's under the hips, or maybe you make the knees a little bit wider to get deeper into the hips. Maybe your arms come forward more. Maybe your head removes off of anything that it's on and you start to get a deeper sensation. The breath doesn't need to be doing anything special here. Sometimes I like to take a few deep breaths to allow myself to settle back into my body when my mind has wandered. Sometimes those deeper breaths help me find a little different edge and allow me to release a little bit deeper. But for the most part, my breath is just mostly natural, and allowing myself to notice the sensations that are happening here in the hips, the ankles, the back. Just about another minute or so here. Like to go a little bit deeper, maybe lengthening the head out, lengthening the arms out, feeling a little bit more sensation in the shoulders. Allowing yourself to just tune in, stay present, be mindful of the sensations happening in the body. Taking a nice deep inhale here. And sigh out the mouth. Very slowly, as slow as possible. Start to press yourself up, press into the hands. Maybe sit up on your heels, or maybe shift the weight forward if that's going to be better. And allow yourself to just come to a seated position, pausing there. Legs can be bent or extended. Just allow yourself to pause and notice the effects of that pose. Staying inward, staying with the sensations. This is called the rebound of the pose in yin. Allowing those connective tissues to resettle. We've stretched into those. Less of our muscles, more of our connective tissues. Especially you might feel it in the hips, along the spine, maybe your knees. And start to bring in some small movements, pointing and flexing through the feet. Maybe massaging the knees. Maybe rocking those legs inside and outside, right? Internally rotating, externally rotating. And so then our next pose is going to be the long-legged butterfly. So we've done a little bit of outer hip rotation. We're going to continue on a little bit deeper with that into our hips today. So you may need to sit up on something depending on how your hips are. You want gravity to take you forward and not let your hips get in the way. So it's kind of then important that if you are sitting up and you're here and you can't quite come forward, you want to sit up on something to allow those hip bones to bring yourself forward. So depending on how you are feeling in your pose and how it feels for you, I'm just going to turn this way, you might need to prop yourself up more. So in regular Baddha Konasana, right, we bring our feet in close. This one's more long-legged. So you want your legs to be a little bit further out. You want to roll the pelvis forward, so you want to be able to drop down forward. So just kind of finding that edge. If it bothers the knees, you can place pillows underneath your knees, like underneath those thighs. So you want your muscles to be able to relax. Our target area again is our hips, and then more a little bit on our spine, so along the whole spine up into the neck. That's where we're targeting. So you don't want to really target the knees so much here. Maybe there's a little bit of sensation in the ankles. You can put some padding under there. But from here, you're just going to then start to round, right? You're rounding your spine. So we're not keeping a long spine. We're rounding into the spine. And then you're just going to start to tilt forward and pausing along the way wherever you need. If you get to the point where your head becomes too heavy to hold, maybe you have a pillow, a bolster, a blanket between your knees, and you can prop your head up into your hands. Maybe you can round so far forward that your head rests on a block. Maybe it rests on fists. Maybe it rests on a pillow. And just keep rounding the spine, rolling the shoulders forward. So really targeting into the hips and along the spine, those little erector spinae muscles and ligaments and tendons. And see if you can relax those legs a little bit. So give them a little squeeze. And then relax them. Good. Settling in here for some time at this first edge. And again, your arms can be forward, or if maybe it feels better that your arms are back behind you. You have that as an option as well. So you want to find a position here where you can settle in for time. Settle in with your breath, settle in with the sensations that are happening in the body. So in yin yoga, we're trying not to engage the muscles. We're not trying to force the knees down. We're not trying to hold the pose with our muscles. We're kind of letting ourselves get into the connective tissues. So those ligaments and tendons that hold our bones and muscles in place. And then there's that saran wrap type of material, the fascia, that wraps around the muscles, the ligaments, and the tendons, making everything nice and connective. So that's our connective tissues that we're building into here, giving them a little bit more time to become loose and fluid, giving them more lubrication by stressing them. Just a little bit of stress. Because as we know, when we have stress in our body, we respond a little bit better. If we put too much stress, where there creates pain or discomfort, we can injure our bodies. We can cause detriment to our health. But we can also cause detriment to our health if we don't stress things enough, if we don't put stress on ourselves. So you want to find that right amount of stress to keep you in optimal health. If you want to find a little deeper edge, maybe that edge is dissipated, maybe you adjust the blocks, maybe you roll yourself forward more, maybe you draw your chin in more toward your chest. For those of you that might have a little bit more flexibility in the hips, so you're not really feeling it, maybe you place a block under your feet. And that'll allow you to feel the hips a little bit more and actually allow you to drop the head a little bit lower toward the floor. But again, it's not your deepest stretch, you're just finding the edge of your stretch and lingering there so you don't have to use any muscular engagement. paying attention to the sensations in the body. Notice what's happening. Sitting with the discomfort, adjusting if there's pain. Knowing if you've gone too far past your edge and you're a little too deep, coming out of it, settling in for a few more moments there before maybe finding a new edge. Just a few more cycles of breath here. Taking a nice deep inhale. Sigh out the breath, out the mouth. Very, very slowly, taking at least 2 or 3, maybe even 4 breaths. Slowly start to wind your way up. Even slower than you think. Coming out very mindfully, noticing those sensations as you come up. Once you've arrived, taking those legs, extending them out, pausing there. It's okay if you have to grunt and groan, totally fine. Sometimes I feel a lot older when I come out of these yin poses than when I went into them. And just notice the sensations. Notice the different parts of your hips, maybe your knees, maybe your ankles. Settling in with the rebound of the pose. Keeping that mindfulness. So trying to keep that parasympathetic system stimulated here. Trying to keep us in that calm, that rest and digest state, even as we start to move into our flow. So using our breath to help us move mindfully. Again, this isn't a practice where you probably want to go your deepest all the time. Maybe it's just something where you want to feel good and your breath is nice and full and controlled the entire time. So go with what feels best to you. There will be a few options for you in the flow series. Then from here, placing any props out of your way, things that you need to move and adjust, and start to come to your hands and knees. Using any padding if you need to for your knees to begin. We won't be here long. Adjust if you need to take off any clothing, knowing that you're going to be moving, if you have a space that's a little bit more warmer now. And then grounding down into those hands. Do a few rounds of cat-cow. Your inhale's lengthening and deepening. And on your exhales, deepening as you press into the hands. Keeping the toes tucked here. Inhale, press into the toes as the heart comes forward. Exhale, press into the hands and round. Couple more rounds there. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, round. One more time here. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, round. Inhale comes to a nice long spine. As you exhale, straighten those legs, come to your plank. So again, whatever's going to feel best to you, maybe to keep that smooth, steady breath, your knees drop to the ground. Always do what's best for your body. So press down into those hands, draw those thumbs toward one another. Imagine heels and hands drawing toward one another. Imagine tailbone lengthening toward your heels. Finding a little more engagement, gaze to the top of your mat. Take another inhale there. And on your exhale, press into the hands, press it back, downward facing dog. Inhale, rolls you forward plank. Exhale, downward dog. 2 more times like that. Inhale, rolls you forward plank, engaging the whole time. Exhale, use the legs to press the hips back. 1 more time, inhale forward. And exhale back. Settling into your downward facing dog, pressing down and forward into those hands, adjusting the hands so they feel good. Draw the shoulder blades onto the back, press in with each knuckle of each hand. And then press back into the heels as you lift up through the low belly. Maybe the knees need to bend. Keep drawing up through the low belly, sending those sit bones back, finding the length in the side waist. Take another big inhale here. And exhale. Putting a little deeper bend into those knees. And as you inhale, walk those hands back toward your feet. Once your feet are firmly on the ground, their feet are hip distance parallel, you're finding your equal standing position, and then bow forward any little bit. Let the head dangle, bend the knees as much as you need. Maybe sway a little bit from side to side, checking in with the hips, the hamstrings, the low back. Exhale fully. Pressing down into those feet, bend the knees slightly as you inhale, roll your spine up nice and slow. Let your shoulders and then head be the last thing to rise. Take a big inhale here, and exhale fully. Good, from here we're going to do some reverse sun salutations, nice and slow to warm up the body to continue into our movement. Grounding down into those feet, and on your inhale, take your arms up. Exhale, fold, bend the knees as much as you need. Inhale, long spine. As you exhale, bend the knees, walk the hands out to plank. Once you arrive there, take an inhale. Exhale, lower knees or toes all the way to the floor. Keep the shoulder heads away from the floor. Ground the toes, slight press of the hands. Inhale, lifts the heart. Exhale, chest down, shoulder heads stay lifted. Press into the toes. Take an inhale, your choice. Exhale, press back knees or toes to downward facing dog. Nice full inhale here. Exhale. As you inhale, start to walk the hands back toward the feet. Maybe legs stay straight. Take an inhale, long spine there. And exhale, fold. Press down into the feet. Inhale, takes the arms up. Last round here, exhale, fold. Inhale, long spine. As you exhale, walk it out to plank. Your choice if you want to do a full vinyasa here. Take an inhale. Exhale, lower knees or toes. Inhale, shoulders roll back. Exhale, press it back, downward facing dog. Take a full inhale there. Exhale. Inhale, nice long spine. As you exhale, walk the hands back toward your feet. Take an inhale. And exhale, fold. Press into the legs. Inhale brings you up. Exhale, hands to heart. Good. Hands released by the side. Mindfully walk to the top of your mat, taking along any props that you might need at the top. We're going to start with a little bit of a balancing pose. Ground down into your feet equally. Exhale fully. Pressing down into that right foot as you inhale, take your left knee, draw it up toward your chest. Exhale, tilt that right knee out to the side as your ankle draws into the right side. Bending that right knee, placing that ankle on top of the knee, so you're in a one-legged chair. Hands can stay on hips, on knee, maybe you have a wall, maybe your hands come to the blocks, deeper stretch. Sit back into those hips, flex the foot here. So we've warmed up the hips a little bit, now we're going to go a little bit deeper. Take another full inhale here. Exhale. Either hands on blocks or hands at heart, moving mindfully. Inhale, draws that left knee to your chest. Exhale, extends that left foot back, coming into a high lunge. Good, draw in through the low belly, sweep the arms up when you're ready. Draw in, press down through that back foot, and then power up the back leg. Good, nice full breaths here. One more full inhale. Exhale. Inhale, hands to heart. As you exhale, open up front to back, warrior two. Pressing down into those feet, sending that front knee toward the front and then out toward the right, engaging that outer hip. Spread through the arms. Let those shoulders relax as you continue to reach through the fingers. Then draw that low belly in as you press into the back outer edge of the back foot. Gaze over your front fingers. Take another inhale there. Exhale. Keep the strength of the legs. Inhale, takes that right arm up, reverse your warrior, find some length in that right side waist. Good. Opening it up. Keep drawing that right knee to the right. Keep the leg engaged in the front. Take one more big inhale here. And exhale. Inhale comes back, warrior two. Exhale, straightens that front leg. Take an inhale, reach that right side waist forward, and then as you exhale, the hand's going to come down to the block or the floor. Press down into the block or floor, lift the chest. If you're pressing into your shin, lightly hold it, use the legs and the belly for strength. Opening up the chest, triangle pose. Good, take another big inhale here. Exhale. Inhale, looking down. Exhale, bends into that knee, keeping the hand either behind the thigh or on top of the thigh. Press into that left foot, and then on your next exhale, take the arm overhead. Side angle pose. Utthita Parsvakonasana. Drawing that right hip under. Elbow and knee in contact. Keep drawing that right hip under. Another big inhale here. Exhale. Inhale, top arm reaches. As you exhale, circle it all the way to the blocker floor. Lift your back heel. Pause there in that low lunge. You have the option to keep your back knee down or even go deeper. Left hand to the floor. Take the right arm up to the ceiling. If you'd like to go even deeper, maybe your left elbow to your right knee, and you find that twist more lifted. Power up the back leg, opening up the chest. Take another full inhale here. Exhale. Inhale, looking down. Exhale, circles that hand to the floor. Pause there. Take an inhale, look forward. Exhale, step it forward. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, fold. Press into the legs. Inhale brings you up. And exhale, hands to heart. Releasing the hands down, take a big inhale there. Exhale, ground down into that left foot. As you inhale, bring the right knee up. Exhale, taking that right ankle in and placing the right ankle to the top of the left thigh. Hands can stay at hips, come to heart. Sit back into that knee, into the hips. Breathing here. Draw in through the belly. Maybe hands come deeper to blocks or floor. Keep sitting back. Drawing those pinky toes toward the knee on the right side. One more full breath here. Exhale. Hovering hands, find some balance if they're on the block. As you inhale, draw that right knee to your chest. As you exhale, extend that right leg back, coming into that high lunge, crescent lunge. Tailbone drops, low belly pulls in, lift the heart, lift the arms, relax the shoulders. Powering up that back leg and sending that front knee forward. Another full inhale here. Exhale. Inhale, hands to heart. Exhale, open up front to back, warrior two. From the back side, draw those shoulder blades toward one another, roll the shoulders down, reach through those arms, and then press into the feet. Tailbone drops as that left knee draws out toward the left side of your mat. And now imagine drawing your heels toward one another, engaging those inner thighs. Exhale fully. Keep the engagement in the legs, turn that front palm up. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, reach it back, find some length in those left side waist. Power up the back leg and keep bending into the front knee. Take another full breath there. Exhale. Inhale comes back, warrior two. Exhale, straightens that front leg. As you inhale, extend that left side waist forward, and then exhale, hand comes down to the block or the floor behind the calf. Press down, open the chest, send that right hip slightly forward as tailbone goes to back heel, and then reach up through that top arm. Find length in the spine, top of the head lengthens forward, tailbone lengthens to back heel. Another big inhale here. Exhale. Inhale, looking down. Exhale, bends into that left knee. Either hand stays on the block or the floor, maybe elbow to thigh. On your next exhale, top arm reaches overhead. Drop the hips, draw that low belly in, roll that left hip under, and then lean away from the right. Maybe gaze goes up. Take one more full inhale here. Exhale. Inhale, top arm reaches. Exhale, circles that hand all the way to the floor. Lift that right heel. Pause there in that low lunge. Good, so you have options here, right? Your back knee can come down. Right hand can come to floor, taking that right hand up to the, or left hand to the ceiling, or maybe right elbow over the left knee, finding deeper twist here. So do what you can do with your breath. Remember, we're keeping the breath nice and steady, smooth and simple. Press down to lift up, and then open the chest, find the twist. Take one more full inhale here. Exhale. Inhale, circles that left hand down. Exhale, pause. Take an inhale, look forward. Exhale, step it forward. Inhale, long spine. And exhale, fold. Pressing into the legs. Inhale, brings the arms up. And exhale, hands to heart. Good, taking yourself, stepping yourself out wide on your mat. Bring your blocks if you need them. This will be the time if you have an inversion practice, you want to do any inversions, you have that as an option, so you can go if you need a wall space or something. Taking those legs wide as is slightly uncomfortable. Press into the outer edges of the feet, lift the chest, hands to your hips, and then exhale, forward fold. Lengthening it out, and then hands come either to the block, to the floor, lengthen the spine out, take a big inhale, and exhale, fold. So this in itself is a slight inversion. Your heart is over your head, your hips are over your heart. And then if you want to make it a little bit even more restorative, prop something up underneath the forehead so that neck can completely relax. Keep engaging through the low belly, press into the outer edges of your feet, lift up through those inner thighs, but let the head rest on something. And breathe. Good. Nice full breaths here. Can you shift the weight slightly forward? Can you imagine pulling your heels to the back of your mat, really engaging the glutes and the outer hip? Can you continue to relax the shoulders and let the neck grow long? Slowing down the breath. You have about another 3 to 4 breaths here. Another full inhale, keeping that engagement. Exhale. And as you inhale, slowly come down if you're inverted. Exhale, lengthen the spine. Good, pausing there, take an inhale. And as you exhale, bend the knees. You're gonna start to heel toe those feet in, all the way in, almost to about hip distance apart, and then slowly start to drop those hips, coming into your malasana, your low squat. Pausing there if you need to, taking a blanket, placing it underneath the heels so that you have some balance, and dropping those hips and then rocking a little bit from side to side. So try not to make it a balance thing. Really, if you can't get your heels to the floor, maybe you don't have that flexibility in your ankles, prop something up under them so that you can really then drop into the low back. So you're not taking that low back and engaging it. Let yourself press into something to let those hips drop, to let yourself round a little bit here. Make it easy on yourself. Good, and then slowly making your way to the floor. Sitting down using any props you need to under your hips. Find Baddha Konasana. So soles of the feet together, draw them in as close as you can to your body that feels comfortable. Bring your hands to behind you to begin. Roll the shoulders back, take an inhale, press with your feet, press your knees down, exhale, hold here. So drawing those knees down as you press the feet together, using those outer hips. Take another inhale there, exhale. Good, as you inhale, sitting up tall here, take that right leg out to the side. Draw the left heel in. So you get nice and tall here, press into the leg, and then exhale, start to lean forward slightly. Because you're feeling that inner thigh stretch. Maybe arms come forward, that feels good to you. Keep pressing through that right heel, pressing back through the left knee, and keep the sit bones on the ground. It's really easy to roll forward. You can get those sit bones up, press them back. Good, one more breath there. Exhale. As you inhale, come back to center. Exhale, rotate toward that right leg. Good. So find a little bit of a twist, press down into that right hip, and then any little bit go forward. So again, you can use a strap. Maybe your hand goes just to your knee. You're finding a nice stretch on that left side. Continuing with the twist in the upper back. Press away with that left knee as you push through the right heel. One more full inhale here. Exhale. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, back to center. A little bit of a side stretch. Right hand to the right thigh. Open the chest, take your left arm up, and then exhale, left arm over the top here. Good, roll the shoulders back, open the chest, push through the heel, and then lengthen out through that side waist. Good, if you can, maybe that top hand binds with the top toe. You keep opening up through the chest as you keep pressing away through that left knee. Exhale fully here. Inhale, top arm reaches. Exhale, pressing yourself up. Draw that right knee in, grab behind the right knee. Coming into that Baddha Konasana stance again, sitting up nice and tall, shoulders roll back, lift the chest, and then exhale, press through those knees down. So finding engagement here, not using your upper body to press down, use the legs to open. Good, another big inhale here. And exhale. Inhale, comes back to center. This time as you exhale, left leg out to the side. Draw that right heel in, sit up nice and tall. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, start to hinge forward. So lengthening it out. Maybe you pause here. Maybe arms come forward, but keep those sit bones drawing back. Right knee to the right, left heel to the left, finding them pushing away from one another. Breathe. Exhale fully. Inhale, lift. Exhale, back to center. Sit up nice and tall, and then on your inhale, rotate to the left. Exhale, press down into the legs. Take an inhale, rotate a bit more, and then on your exhale, lengthen forward. So again, maybe right hand reaches foot, maybe it goes to the left knee, pressing foot and leg away from one another, and then lengthening out, finding that nice stretch on the right side. Breathing fully. Exhale fully here. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, back to center. Taking that left hand out by the left shin. Open up the chest. Inhale takes that top arm up. And exhale, overhead. So it's a nice side stretch here. You're not reaching and rounding forward. We just did that. Press that right knee away. Find some length in the right side waist. And then continue to lengthen that arm overhead. Maybe if your shoulder's bothering you, or if you don't want to reach your arm overhead, bend the top elbow. Maybe hand finds the head, maybe the shoulder, maybe even the hip. You can still find that sideways. And sometimes if you have your hand on your hip, you can press that hip down, finding more stretch here. Exhale fully. Inhale brings you all the way up. Exhale there. Grabbing onto behind the left knee, draw that foot in. Coming back to Baddha Konasana, this time grab around the toes. Sit up nice and tall. And then as you exhale, start to hinge forward. So pressing feet, pressing knees down. Now maybe elbows start to press into thighs. If you have a little bit more flexibility here, maybe your elbows come forward and you're pressing elbows and shins into one another for resistance. Keep lengthening out, breathing here. 2 more breaths. Exhale fully. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, back to center. Grabbing under those knees, helping them up. And then coming and rolling down onto your back. So from here, you have a couple options if you want to do a little supported bridge, because that feels good. If you want to do regular bridge, or if you have a wheel pose, Urdhva Dhanurasana in your practice, you're more than welcome to go there. I'm going to use a little bit of support because we're getting ready to do a little restorative. Lifting your hips, placing them on a block, a bolster, a pillow, or going into bridge pose, right? So interlacing the hands, lifting up. We're going to be here for about 8 to 10 breaths. So your choice of what kind of heart openers you want to do here. Be mindful of your breath. There's some time to explore. If you're resting on a block or a pillow, making sure that you're still slightly engaging the legs, drawing those shoulder blades closer to one another, drawing the chin slightly in toward the chest. Finding your breath here. About 4 more deep breaths here. Maybe finding that Ujjayi pranayama, these last 3 breaths, stimulating that thyroid gland that regulates our metabolism and our sleep patterns. Can you let your breath be even fuller, deeper, longer? Exhale fully. Good. Slowly pressing into the balls of the feet. Lift yourself off any padding under the hips. Let yourself settle down. Pausing there for a moment. And then drawing the knees into the chest, hugging them in. Rocking a little bit from side to side. And then coming into happy baby. Doing any type of happy baby that's going to make you feel good. Maybe it's a static happy baby. Maybe it's a wide leg happy baby. Maybe it's a little bit more narrow. Maybe you're just rocking the entire time. We're going to be here for about 3 or 4 more breaths. And then we're going to start to transition into our restorative phase. In the restorative phase, you will need a few more props. So you may need to pause the video to go get the props. I will let you know what you need, and then you can pause it. And then you can move and feel free to get those things and then come back and press play. So go ahead and release your happy baby, give those legs a little shake. Hug the knees in the chest, round the spine, pull the forehead toward the knees. And then your choice, either rock and roll up to seated or roll yourself to one side, press yourself up. So you're gonna roll yourself up. Things that you will need. You'll need a couple large cushions. I highly recommend your couch cushions. They work the best. I can't believe how well they work. Maybe a blanket or 2. If you don't have blankets, large towels, beach towels work great. The fluffier, the better. Blocks might be handy. Pillows might be handy. You might even want to start to cover up a little bit. If you have an eye pillows are great. If you have maybe a hand towel to put over your head, maybe even a strap or a belt. So you want a lot of props. Go gather what you can. I will also lay them out. If you ever need to pause it and go grab more things. That's the beauty of being at home with a video. So gather your props and I will see you back on your mat in a moment. All right, welcome back. Hopefully you've gathered a few things. I have my 2 couch cushions to start. I have a blanket and I have an eye pillow and I have a hand towel. So if you need, I actually have extra cushions here as well and blocks in case I need them. The first one we're going to go to is in a supported Supta Baddha Konasana. So we're going to be in a reclined open heart pose to open our hips. When we get into restorative, we want to be more in a position where we're feeling completely supported by our props. So with yin, we had a specific target. With this, we want to feel completely supported, so it's almost like all the sensations are equal. There's not one part in our body that's standing out the most in a sensation. So you're going to prop yourself up very mindfully. So with this, I like to place this first cushion at an angle. So you're going to have this little bit of a heart opener. So once you're here, you might even want to place maybe a block or a pillow underneath to give yourself a little bit more support. And then I like to have my hips supported. So I like to place this bottom blanket under here and I kind of like make a little stair step. You might need another towel or something to place behind here if your low back has a little bit more curve in it, just so you can feel that support. That's kind of one of the reasons I have my hand towel here in case I need that. And I'm going to sit down against the bolster and I'm just going to lay back, see how that feels. If I need any extra support, making sure you're not tipping over and opening up the chest. You want to lengthen in here. Maybe you press a little something underneath the nape of your neck into your cervical spine to keep that neutral. And then with your feet are in Baddha Konasana here, with your feet open. If it's too much in the hips and you're feeling too much in the inner groins, couple options. If you have a block, slide it in so that long flat side just kind of slides in until it stops and you have support. Another option is to take a pillow or a blanket and do the same thing, just kind of prop it under the hips to give yourself a little bit more support. All right, and then if you feel there's too much going on in the ankles, you can always take a towel and wrap them around the ankles so that those are supported. You can even take the towel and place it over your head, right? So getting yourself comfortable. If you need to, go ahead and pause the video, get yourself set, get yourself comfortable, and allow yourself to settle in. All right, once you're there, if you have maybe even an eye pillow, maybe you place that over your eyes. And then just kind of notice what's happening with the hands. You might need to prop your arms up on a pillow. Maybe you need a little bit more support here to feel that that arm is supported, right? I like to sometimes keep the pillow there and then rest my hands on my belly. I find that that is more comfortable for me. But maybe you want more of a deeper heart opening, so arms will be by your side and palms turned out. And then just settle in here. Allow yourself to relax. See if you can get those sensations to equally be distributed among all parts of your body. If you feel one part of your body is hanging on a little bit more than another, adjust mindfully and then settle in. Once you're there, take a nice deep inhale and sigh it out the mouth. Allowing yourself to return to the sensations of the body, to the breath, to your intention of being mindfully present. Laying here, allowing yourself to be present for a few more moments in silence. When your mind wanders away and gets distracted, encourage it kindly to come back and be with the body, be with the breath, maybe even turning your attention to the tip of your nose. Taking a nice deep inhale and sigh it out the mouth. Slowly start to draw those knees back up to center, pausing there. Uncovering the eyes if they've been covered. And then reaching forward, grabbing onto the backs of the thighs, maybe onto the hips. Start to draw the chin toward the chest, curling the spine, using your arms and your core, lifting yourself up, crossing your legs, finding a little seated position here. Pause here for a moment, noticing those effects. Allow the eyes to blink open. And so for this next one, you have a couple options. You may go into traditional Shavasana. Maybe you take these cushions, you lay them down, you lay on top of the cushions, you're supported, and you go into something a little bit more supportive. Maybe you place the blanket down under your knees, really feel supported on the ground. I'm going to lead you through a little bit of legs up the wall. So you're not going to need your cushions. You might need a little blanket or a towel for under the hips, maybe even a bolster. I like to use the bolster under my hips, just it gives me a little bit more support. If you would like, you could even place a block or a pillow between your thighs or between your shins and wrap your strap around it. That gives you a little bit more support, so in case your legs completely relax and you go off, that they don't snap down and kind of hurt yourself. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to take a block and I'm going to place it between my shins. And I'm just going to take my strap and just very mindfully place it around my shins. So it's not super tight. You don't want to cut off any circulation, but you want to be able to put your legs up the wall. So you're going to place that around your shins, making sure it's not going to slip off anywhere, making sure that the buckle's not on your skin so you don't have that extra sensation. And it's enough just to keep your legs from dropping out. And then you're going to come as close as you can to the wall, placing one shoulder against the wall, and then supporting yourself with any props you need to. Have your eye pillow handy. And then from here, lean back, take those legs up the wall. Your hips do not have to be super close to the wall. You can find a little bit of space. If you find that it bothers your ankles or your heels against the wall, you can take a towel or a blanket and place that over your feet so that your heels then press into the blanket or the towel. And then just kind of adjust as you need to, making sure there's no pressure in anywhere specific, that all the sensations are equal. Your arms can come by your side, maybe your hands rest on your belly, maybe they reach up overhead. Be mindful of any tingling sensations that might happen in the shoulders. Just feeling really supported, maybe finding something under the neck, maybe under the low back. And then once you've arrived, settle in. Take a nice deep inhale and sigh out the mouth. Allowing yourself to settle in here with these legs up the wall. Allowing some different sensations to take hold. Feeling supported by the wall, the strap, the floor. And again, tuning into the tip of your nose, noticing your inhales and exhales. As you lay here for a few more moments in silence. Allowing those sensations to take hold in the body. If and when your mind does wander, kindly bring it back. Bring it back to the moment, to the sensations, to the breath. Taking a nice deep inhale and sigh out the mouth. Slowly start to bring some movement into the fingers and toes if you're in traditional Shavasana. For those with legs up the wall, start to slide those knees in toward the chest, giving them a squeeze, releasing any props that are around the legs. Releasing those to the floor. Squeezing your knees in wherever you are, rocking a little bit from side to side. And staying with this sensation of calm, with this down regulating, allowing ourselves to feel restored. We're going to go ahead and roll over to your right side. Pause there. Take a moment. Check back in with your intention. And then when you're ready, mindfully pressing yourself up. Coming all the way back up to seated. Allowing yourself to settle in. Bring yourself into the room, onto your mat, and into your body. Allow the eyes to close and hands press in front of the heart center. Just allowing yourself to be here and notice the effects of the practice. We'll complete our practice with one Om, reminding yourself of that intention so that you can allow the strength, the energy, and the breath of this practice to help you with that intention as you step off your mat today and into your day ahead. Take a nice deep inhale. Bowing your head slightly. Taking a moment to think of one thing in your life that you truly are grateful for. And then holding on to that image in your mind's eye as you raise your head with a smile. Thank you for taking time for yourself today. Thank you for joining me. Drink lots of water, eat your veggies, and wear some sunblock. We'll see you next time. Namaste.